Okay, time for these two jugs. I gotta use my big flashlight I keep in my fish room. My phone's battery's too low to use its flashlight. So let's see. This tank, or this tote, I guess you can say. What does it say here? I've got F1 orange flashes. F1s. These guys, I don't know who their mother. I don't remember who their mother was. Neither do I. As for these guys, I kept track and then I kind of forgot. But as you can see, one big piece of driftwood, and then I've got a plant growing in some styrofoam there. Let me pull this out just to show you why I do this. So plants are great for the tank, but look what happens when you grow them in non-aquatic plants in styrofoam above the tank, especially if they're plants that need a lot of water. They will grow really well. This plant was practically dead when I put it in here, and it's shooting off new leaves. It's the best thing about foam is that it's not poisonous and it floats, so your plant's not going to drown, as well as it's permeable, which means, see this root? This root is going through the foam to the plant. So the plant is sending roots through the foam into the water. So that's cool. Just got some leaves, some sphagnum in here, and a heater, and a sponge filter. That's it, plus a whole bunch of fish that I will eventually get rid of. And then again in here, same thing, except these are all male, except for two of them in here I'm questioning. But sometimes I see some fish that I think might be female, try to snag them, and then they disappear. Oh well. Same thing, heater, sponge filter, piece of driftwood, and some terrestrial plants. And these guys, I don't know what's up with this. This is one of these plants that grow on a vine with runners and everything. But these love the water. I don't know what the species name or the common name. I'll try and figure that out for you guys. But these guys just absolutely love being, or like floating in the water. Let me see if I can break this apart for you. See, I've had this in here for maybe a month, and it's grown about 4 inches, and it's sprouted off a whole bunch of new leaves and new runners. So it started off maybe this long, and now it's this long. Same over here. This thing was on the verge of dying in a pot. Threw it in here. It's coming back. Another piece doing the same thing, and smaller leaf branching off. These things grow really well. I'm hoping to get an entire cover. Whatever it is, it's not poisonous to the fish. They even the guppies that I use in here for target fish, as well as if these guys die, then I know something's wrong with the tank. There's a fancy male tuxedo. Okay, got distracted again. But this right here is doing really well. Hopefully I can get it to cover the entire surface of this tank. Have a nice oxygenator too. I don't know what this plant is, but I gotta figure it out because it's growing below the surface. It's growing right below the surface. But even the leaves that are way underwater, you're doing fine without injecting CO2 into this tank. And then it's in incredibly dim light. Like, this is a lot dimmer because of the camera, but the only light that goes into this tank are the ambient light. Is the ambient light from these T5, or not T5, these are T8s that I got in a 10-gallon kit. One of these 10-gallon kits a long time ago that I taped to the ductwork for lighting in here. So it's ambient lighting from there, and ambient lighting from this light, which is it's a regular old-fashioned light bulb, and a desk lamp that's screwed onto this work table. Yeah, it's barely getting any light into this tank, as well as this one. These plants are still doing well because of all the nutrients in the water. And then my water jugs that I use for water shampoos. And then last but almost least, the 20 long. I'm put this flashlight on top of this thing I've got right here, this cover. Slow moment, but here, as you can see, are a bunch of snails. Snails. These are the kind of snails that you'll find eggs on the plants that you buy at the local fish store. You're not the bad local fish store and PetSmart and Petco. In a planted tank, your show tank, your pride and true planted show tank, do not want these guys in here. They don't particularly like living leaves, but last resort they'll eat them. And personally, they look ugly as heck, especially when you've got trillions and billions of them in your tank, just all over the place. However, in your fish room, when you might overfeed or something, I've got them in every single tank in here because they can get their babies can get through this tiny little airline thing. But in your fish room, they work wonders. Whenever you overfeed, whenever there's leftover food, same thing. Or even as a last resort, your fish will start eating them in case you're not here for a while and they get really hungry. But they are great for these tanks. They'll eat practically anything. And I need to do a water change on this tank. But this tank, I've got a hang on the back power fill, or it's internal hang on the front. I don't know what to call it, but it's one of those cheap internal filters. I forgot what it's called. I think it's made by Aquatic. Kind of a waterfall filter, aerates the water. I have no idea what I did with the filter cartridges and the flashlight. So as you can see, I took a car sponge and I just cut it in half, stuck it in there. Works great. Since the power filter cleans out a lot more stuff than a sponge filter would have, and also get some bacterial filtration in there. But yeah, in this tank, you can see right there, I've got fry of all ages in here. There's one in here that's really big. This was the first part of the first batch of wild cockatoides fry I had in here in this fish room. But you can see there's a bunch of them in this tank. That's a cool effect, the spotlight. And I keep some guppies in here. Can't really see them. It's so dark in this fish room. There's one of the males, the male, and then two females back there. So I just keep them in there. Hopefully I can get some fry out of those two females so I can get some feeder guppies, because cockatoides, microgeophagus, dwarf cichlids in general go crazy for a live bear fry, especially if they're not show guppies. You don't want to waste those. But the cheap Endler guppies, if they're good quality, you can get them like 10 for $4 at some fish stores. You just breed the heck out of those guys and feed them to your dwarf cichlids, and they'll go crazy. They're practically brine shrimp and worms, except they're fish, so you'll get to see some natural behavior. Plus, it works well when you're culling them. Culling is like getting the bad fish out of the brood. And like if you're culling live bears, don't just throw them down the toilet. There's something. Feed them to your dwarf cichlids, or give them to a friend who has dwarf cichlids. And dwarf cichlids will go crazy for fry. Practically any fry that isn't their own or somebody else's that's in the same species. I don't know. In my experience, cockatoides and other dwarf cichlids don't go for their own species fry. They'll go for anyone else's fry except for their own species. I know a lot of people have had issues with fry eating in the colony tank setting, but I don't know. I've never had any bad luck with those.
or any pairs that didn't know how to take care of their fry. I guess I got a lucky break. Also, breed my fish, letting them get raised, so I don't mess that up. But yeah, that's it for the fish room. At least today. Microworm cultures. As you can see, these are very, very prolific. Dehumidifiers. That's it for this episode. See you later.